Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. This is a very special episode. It's our best of hip-hop 1993. This is possibly a slightly self-indulgent episode. If you've got no interest in hip-hop, you might not be that interested in this episode, but as we get into in the episode, I think 93 is one of the best years for music of all time. Certainly one of the best years for hip-hop, if not the best year. Different opinions are available. We had quite a lot to talk about on here, I think. Obviously, I think you'll probably find what's quite apparent in this is that I'm more of an albums guy than Krista is. Krista is very much a singles guy when it comes to hip-hop, but he's certainly got some real favourites in here and a lot to say as well. I hope this will be of interest to our hip-hop head fans. If you're latently interested in hip-hop, you might find some suggestions in here that you haven't been into. If you've got anyone that's getting interested in that kind of early 90s hip-hop vibe, then, you know, send them our way. Also want to send a massive couple of thanks here, really. It's been a bit, we hit a pretty big milestone on the downloads. We did over 100,000 downloads. That was something that we never dreamed that we would do when we started this podcast. I don't know, it's just two dickheads chatting in their bedroom. We're always amazed when people are in any way interested in it. Thank you ever so much for you guys for joining in and listening and help us do what we do. It's amazing, really, because we do no promotion on this whatsoever, really. Also, Spotify told us that we were in the top 5 most followed podcasts in the world, which was fucking weird. I don't see that. I'm not sure how that is the case. I'm sure that's just about some weird magic where loads of them have only got one episode or something along those lines. But thank you so much. I feel like we should really give it out to all you guys that listen. You are the people that make this show. And yeah, we're so chuffed. Give a special shout out to the people that have, that have kind of bigged us up on their podcast as well. We retweeted us, spread the word that way. We do so much through word of mouth. Particularly give a shout out to Stephen Hill, to Gaz Jones, Niall Bakewell of the Zeros podcast, also the guys over at Number One Rerun. Everyone that's really gone out of their way to kind of spread the word for us. All of the people that have given us a bump along the way, and we picked up some of their listeners as well. So go and check out their podcasts. Can't recommend them enough. And with no further ado, please check out our Best of Hip Hop 1993. Yes, people, it's Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen with my good friend, Mr. Krista Greer.
Hey, everyone.
And this is not a regular episode because, hold up.
Wait a minute.
This is the 1993 hip-hop special.
I wasn't sure what call and response we were going with. Hold up.
Wait
a minute.
Could have fucking warned you I was going for that, really, couldn't I?
Very possibly.
So basically this is 1993. We are in the epicenter of a big wave of hip-hop.
Mm-hmm. For me, if anyone asks me, kind of, what is your classic era of hip-hop?
Yeah.
My stock answer is like 88 to 93. Mm-hmm. So for me, this is like towards the end of when I was thinking, there's so much stuff coming out. I think you are slightly different on your timeline, aren't you?
I mean, I say classic era. Absolutely my favourite era of hip-hop is, for me, hip-hop really found its feet properly, really bloomed. The golden era was like kind of 91, 92, 93, 94.
Okay, so you're right in the middle of this bit for you.
Absolutely.
And you were listening to loads of stuff at this point. 93, you were looking for and exploring new hip-hop.
Oh, mate, I was living hip-hop, just always trying to find the new thing, trying to get access to stuff that I'd heard about. Wasn't easy to find. We've just said this so many times on the podcast. You had to really fucking work for this stuff if you wanted it.
Absolutely, because I mean, there was so much was just because it was all from the States. It was US based stuff coming over. Mm-hmm. You were kind of relegated to what you could get by what was actually released, and you were relegated to what the stuff was released that was in your area.
And your price range. Because,
true.
I mean, I remember paying like, £18, £19 for CDs because they were import only.
And in
CDs.
93, that's like 30 quid's worth.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'd balk at that now.
No, totally.
I'd balk at that for vinyl, you know. But it was such an exciting time. There was, we'll put it up on our website, the list of hip-hop albums that kind of came out. There's so much, and it's varied. As I say, we mentioned this last year. You're kind of seeing the death of some of those early artists that are starting to kind of fall off, but you're seeing the rise of a lot of really exciting artists that are going to kind of set the template for hip hop and what it's going to become.
True. There's a bit of a changing of the guard at this point, I suppose.
In the UK, it's slightly different. In America, it's kind of... I remember my friend Alan went out to America and he said, like there's two shops, there's two sides of every record shop, rock and hip-hop.
Okay, sure.
Hip-hop was ubiquitous in the States by 1993, although it still wasn't the multi-billion-dollar industry it would become.
But we are starting to see, by 93, I think, something that we've talked about before, which is pop music becoming very hip-hop based. We're starting to see some of that because even though a lot of the top 10s that we have gone through for this last season, you've gone, oh my God, the amount of really cheesy dance stuff is outrageous.
Yeah.
It was at the height of the shit rave era.
Too unlimited.
But if there was a pop track, which was even like, New Kids or A17 and this sort of stuff, the hip hop influence is really coming through with the beats.
Sure, but it's very much still on that kind of New Jack Swing, kind of Teddy Riley kind of style.
Yeah, it's catching up to
what's coming through. Whereas, there is as well, because within hip hop as well, you've got this big divide of what's going on because you've had major artists achieve big pop success. You've got MC Hammer on the Addams Family soundtrack last year, and you've got you've got Vanilla Ice breaking through, Heavy D and the Boys,
Bell Biv DeVoe.
Exactly, and you've got this kind of this divide between hip hop purists and those that are using R&B in their songs, and you've got the underground of hip hop, which is all about kind of being hard and real and true to this, and kind of the true mainstream breakthrough hasn't really certainly occurred in this country. And you start to see it with stuff like, and again, this didn't make my list, but was very close, but like 1993 by Naughty by Nature had a couple of massive singles on it. Like Hip Hop Array, man. That song was everywhere in the States, and it kind of became quite a big hit over here. And that was an early example of a group that were, kind of revered in the underground and were considered part of that kind of hip hop thing, coming through and grabbing some of it. And you'd start to see that with some other artists. I'm trying not to name check anyone that we're going to mention.
Is there anyone else though that you'd want to put forward as almost made the list?
There's certainly a few.
What about Snow? 12 Inches of Snow.
12 Inches of Snow. Yeah,
that was out in 93.
I would like to have that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that was. I think that's more of a hardcore roots reggae record.
Oh, true enough. Yeah, absolutely.
KRS-One's Return of the Boom Bap.
Sure.
Yeah, that's an absolutely stunning record.
You have said on a few occasions how much you're into that one.
Yeah, I really love it. It nearly made my list. I've been agonising over this list for.
I've had to kind of go back and forth. Like, are you sure is it this one? You're like, no, I'm between these three. Then you just had to plump for one in the end.
Yeah, so definitely, Return of the Boom Bap was,
one of yours.
It's got Sound of the Police on it. What can you say?
It's stupidly big.
Then on the other end of that kind of that down down tempo kind of. Cool, super cool, Diggable Planets.
Right, yeah.
That
Reaching.
Yeah, mate. That fucking record, man. I love that record so much.
Right.
The only reason it's not on here is because I think as a complete album, it's not quite as good as some of the other stuff I've got on here. But its high points, oh my God, it's so good. Not 1993 I mentioned as well. That could have been on the list. Again, I think there's some really good stuff on there. Some of it's not dated quite as well as it has, and it's still probably not quite as good as its original album, but it has got this fucking brilliant, like 1993, this long kind of intro build.
Yeah, no, that is a lovely build, like you said.
It comes in at 1993. Yeah, fucking just Tretch just on it all the way, man. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Another
couple just to run through that we put a list together of everything that we thought could be considered, and you've got stuff like Brand Nubians in God We Trust, Das Effects, Straight Up Suicide, De La Soul's Balhoun Mind State is in there, which I remember coming out and going, I think I'm not in love with De La Soul anymore at this point.
Yeah.
There was good bits, but it's not a solid album. Eazy-E had It's On, Dr. Dre, 187 Killer, which we talked about in one of our episodes, and it's just a shame. And MC Ren's Shock of the Hour as well. We talked about that. Ice-T's Home Invasion came out, which you like some of the stuff on that as well.
Oh, I had that album. I listened to the living hell out of that record.
Yep.
It's fine. It's very much of its moment. It's got 99 Problems, but a bitch ain't one on it.
Yes, indeed.
But the thing is, when I go back to an Ice-T record, it's not going to be that one.
It's not Home Invasion. Yeah.
No, it's not Home Invasion.
Yeah.
It's going to be OG, or it's going to be Power, or Iceberg.
Okay, but those are some of the ones that we were kind of in the mix with.
Yeah,
anyway.
and Brand Nubian, pushed me far too far. Again, we'll talk about this a lot, but sometimes when you go back to these kind of old hip hop, you have to listen to it with you have to kind of give it a little bit of cultural leeway.
It was a different time.
Yeah, you have to go, right. You have to go, right, no, I don't agree with that, but I quite like the beat. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Some of this.
Yeah.
But like Brand Nubian, some of the...
I mean, Akinyele released Vagina Diner, let's face it.
Vagina Diner. I mean...
I'll admit, I've not heard that.
No.
But I suspect I can guess what it's like.
It's not going to be very good, is it?
No, it's going to be worse than Two Live Crew, and that's quite saying something.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to Two Live Crew for a long time, but I do have a bit of a soft spot for some of it.
In terms of its just ridiculousness, of course, but yeah, in terms of actual good hip hop, well, maybe not. The other one that I was debating putting in mine because I remember loving the film so much was the CB4 soundtrack.
Nice.
Just so that I could talk about Sweat From My Balls.
Yeah, Sweat From My Balls.
But A, it's not a real album, and B, it's not on Spotify, so I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, there's a couple on here that aren't on Spotify.
Well, true, we're going to have to work around that at some point.
Anyway, right, so we've done a top 5 each. There is there's a little bit of crossover. Where there's a bit of crossover, I guess we'll talk about it when it's higher up in the list.
Exactly, yeah.
There might be a bit of back and forth on here. But okay, who's starting?
So we'll start with your number 5.
Okay, number 5 for me, I'm going to go with Guru's Jazzmatazz record.
Right.
And this is the first track I heard. Amazing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is like one of the last tracks on the album.
It's the last track on the album.
All right.
But, I mean, I heard this on a skate video.
Ah, right. Okay.
Back 411 Video Magazine, which used to be like a kind of a monthly or semi-regular skate video that came out and on VHS.
Oh, brilliant.
And someone would have it. And I heard this on someone's part and I fucking loved this track.
Really? Straight away?
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah.
So at the time, I didn't realise that, this was live instrumentation and all of those things that made Jazzmatazz. Jazzmatazz, it just sounded like a cool, jazzy hip-hop
that sample,
tune for me.
Yeah.
And, we're right in the era of that jazzy hip hop sound. There's a lot of people that have kind of got a bit of that in their music.
Oh, very much so.
And I love the fact. I mean, obviously, I also love Guru. Guru's one of my favourite MCs of all time.
Yeah, and by '93, you've heard at least a couple of Gangstar albums, and you're big into that. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. And I just love the fact that he went back, got a load of musicians together, put together these tracks like live instrumentation, like. Really, really, I mean, jazz can go either way, can't it? It really can.
I mean, for me, it pretty much goes one way.
Okay.
But there's maybe like 5% of jazz that I'm like, okay, that's fine, but the rest of it is not really me.
Okay, well, that's fair enough, man. But I do like a bit.
Yeah, you're much more into
I like a bit of groovy jazz. Yeah, man. So
I like their magazines.
Well, me too. I haven't seen one in a while.
1993, yeah.
True enough. But this is just full of really, really vibey tunes. They've got great collaborators. I mean, it's full for me. So many great songs all over it.
Right.
Like Le Mal, Le Bien with MC Solar.
Oh, I mean, I do remember that. That is a nice tune.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Solar sounds fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
And Lounging with Donald Byrd, which is just a really, really cool, laid-back song.
Yeah.
No Time to Play with Ronnie Jordan and DC Lee.
DC Lee, my God.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Wait, this one that we're listening to now has got Carleen Anderson from Young Disciples and Courtney Pine, obviously classic jazz saxophonist.
Exactly. And, these are, they're kind of, for the most part, they're kind of street fables. I mean, there's some kind of more light-hearted stuff on here. But the whole thing has just got this really kind of low-key, toned down, just kind of put it on, nod your head to it, let it wash over you. It's one of my, I put it on just to kind of relax, sit and have it in the background. Perfect day for something. I mean, I smoked a lot of joints listening to this record.
That's what it's for.
It's a head nodder, man. There were other albums I could have looked at with that kind of influence in this year, and I had to go. I had to really tone myself down and go, right, which one did I listen to the most?
I think that's important, because it's a very different thing if you're going, well, which one is the objectively better album, or which one is most influential, or anything like that. I've got a couple in here which I'm like, no, I just admit this is why I was listening to it, and this is why I was so into it.
100%, mate, 100%. And that's kind of, I've tried to avoid the cool choices here. This is 100% where I'm at with it. Every single one of these albums on here, I fucking love it.
Right. Oh, that's brilliant.
Anyway, so that's that, really.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we are going to put a playlist together of one song from each of our choices, and so this is the one you're going to put into this one, Sights in the City. And I'm just looking, Carleen Anderson, Courtney Pine, and you say like DC Lee, stuff like this. That's a lot of UK artists that Guru was working, because it was not strictly a UK album or anything like that. He was just interested in kind of the acid jazz scene and the other stuff that was happening over here, I guess. I
mean, I wonder if that's all from that collaboration with Brand New Heavies.
I wonder, because that was the previous year, the Heavy Ram experience. Very possible. I wonder if they were introducing him to kind of the other people on the scene at that point. All right, nice one. So that's your number 5. Excellent stuff. My number 5, I think you've got it at your number 4.
I have.
Right, so that's cool. So Onyx, Back to Fuck Up.
Back to Fuck Up.
Back to Fuck Up. I mean, for a start, what an album title.
I mean, it's brilliant.
Back to Fuck Up. It is cartoonish. It's very silly at points. It's over the top. It's just, men shouting at each other.
I've written comically aggressive.
It really is, yeah. Pulling the most ridiculous screw face stuff at each other. But so much of it is great fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I will admit that whenever I heard, I heard the singles. I heard Slam and I heard Throw Your Guns. Yeah. I think I said on here the first time I saw Throw Your Guns was on The Word, and so it was them live, and they were just going crazy on stage because that's what they did, and it just really sparked something. I was like, that looks fantastic. It's not clever, not one bit, but it was, shouting and swearing and big dumb beats, and I was fine with that.
This is exactly it, man. This is, I mean, you couldn't have a more antithetical record to Jazzmatazz in so many ways.
Very true, yeah.
Both New York records, of course. But yeah, Onyx, I became aware of Onyx. I can't remember. I sort of heard or saw Slam somewhere.
Sure, it was a big tune.
Yeah, and I was just like, right, fucking went out and bought the tape, had Back to Fuck Up on tape. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it would be kind of ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous.
It is, totally ridiculous.
But it would be risible if it wasn't so well orchestrated.
Right, sure.
Because, you got big kind of beats across here all the way through.
Yeah.
And you got just... there's so many big tracks, man. And Sticky Fingers is one of the best MCs of his era.
He's so much fun. Yeah, he's fantastic.
But they do this kind of syncopated, kind of all in together, where it's all, everything's... it's like kind of hip-hop barbershop.
Oh, okay.
But
nice.
But very, very aggressive. I mean, obviously, it's not a perfect record. It's got as dogged so many records of this era. It's got way too many skits on it.
I've said that about a couple other ones on here as well. It just seemed like that was the de rigueur that you had to have bits in between your songs.
But I mean,
no need.
Let's look at this, man. You got Throw Your Guns. What a tune that
Brilliant.
is. Attack of the Bald Heads.
Yeah.
Right. Let's take a minute to appreciate Black Vagina Finder.
Absolutely.
I mean, me and Jack, the Black Vagina Finder. Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
I mean, it's
a great one for charades at Christmas with the family.
Yeah,
it's a song, 3 words.
There are so many just like kind of little moments of lyrics that kind of stick in my head for this. Like What's going on with the world? Yesterday I seen a bald-head girl. What? No. I heard what he said. I want to be caught dead without a bald head. With one false movement, I'ma fill you with it. Cause I got enough dumb bullets for your whole bum fresh crew. Who should I do? Sorry, I can go off on.
I wish you could see Dave because he was doing the actions as well. He was holding a gun when he needed to.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Mate, I fucking love
Brilliant
this
stuff.
Like, there are moments in this album where I can lose myself in this, man.
Great.
It's not a perfect record, but it's pretty fucking good.
That's what I've said. You know, whenever I heard those singles and bought the album, I thought the album has got some great bits on it, and it's got a couple of duffers. And you're like, fine, that's all right. That's not a problem. That's what happens with albums. Which is, you know, again, why is it my number 5, your number 4?
Yeah.
But when it's good, it's a lot of fun.
I don't know if I'd call anything a duffer.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think there's any duffers on it. There's a little bit of maybe stuff that's not quite as good as the other. I mean, Fat and All of That I'll probably live without.
Right, sure.
I'm looking at the album track in front of me now because you've got the vinyl.
And there you've got the record. And I mean, there's a lot of song titles that we cannot say on here.
I mean, yeah, not in this era.
No.
But yeah, no, brilliant record.
Okay, so the song that we were just playing is Stick and Move,
Yeah.
which is your choice to go
Stick and
onto
Move.
the playlist.
It's a little ode towards to mugging.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but it's also sampled by Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, right, okay.
on Ready to Die. That hand over the money. Yeah.
Oh,
Give me the
okay.
money.
Give me the
Give
money.
me the loot. Give me the loot. Hand over the money. That's the sample.
Very nice. Well, because I have chosen it as well, I'm going to put another song on. So I'm going to go with Throw Your Guns because it was the first one I heard, and I was like, that's why I want to hear more of these guys.
Yeah,
Or
brilliant.
maybe not the first. I think the first was probably Slam, like yourself, but it's overplayed at these times. So it's like, fucking Throw Your Guns. I love it. Wicked.
Right.
Okay, so that was my number 5, your number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my number 4 is another one that you have in your list, and you've got it higher, so we'll leave that until it comes up at that point, and so we'll go into your number 3.
This is Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style.
All right, so yeah, Doggy Style. Tell me why you were such a big fan of this, man.
Well, you know, I mean, I'd already loved the Chronic coming through. I'd really liked Snoop's bits on that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the record to come out, and you know what? This album just takes the G-Funk sound that was, you know, kind of we saw starting in, you know,
well,
FL
91
Fauna Ziggin.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm not going to say that the right way.
Yep.
Went into the Chronic. I mean, you know, there's WC and the Mad Circle are doing it as well.
Oh,
There's other
yeah,
people
yeah,
that are
yeah.
doing it. But this is Dre's kind of signature sound, really. And Snoop obviously just started off as a larger-than-life character, and he built this kind of cartoon world around his album.
Sure, yeah.
Obviously, the cover is a cartoon. At the time, I thought, oh, fucking...
It does look a bit cheapened.
Yeah, it does. And
yeah.
But the more I think about it, it kind of almost needed to be that because it is such a cartoon world that he creates. I mean, the way this record, for me, this is one of the ultimate summer albums. When the sun comes out, I'm going to be listening to this record because, man, I mean, just the way it starts off, you know, you have this kind of bathtub skit, which is, you know, de rigueur, as we said, into the G-Funk intro. Interestingly, the first person you really hear on this record is Lady of Rage.
Oh, okay,
Like,
yeah.
Pretty much, is, you know, in the same way that Dre pretty much introduced Snoop to the world on the Chronic, he does the same thing with Lady of Rage here.
Okay.
You know, probably, you know, Lady of Rage is someone who's probably not gone on to be as storied in hip-hop history as they probably imagined she might be at this point.
No, true.
But, you know, she had some moments there. But then, so you got that track, then you go into Gin and Juice. Again, way too many skits on this. Fucking so many skits. But, you know, the Shiznit, Loddy Doddy, like the cover. I mean, first time I think I'd ever heard a hip-hop artist do a cover.
Yeah, which nobody does that, really. No.
This track that's playing now, Murder Was the Case.
Yeah.
Serial Killer, which is like the Posse Jam, which has got the amazing RBX verse in it, man. The deep like the mines of Minolta. Yeah, fucking great. G's and Hustlers, just these big, enormous, massive, funkified chunks of funk, man.
Yeah.
Again, you know, we're in the gangster era. There's lots of very, very, very misogynistic lyrics in this record.
Yes.
Like ridiculously so. You kind of... Like, to the point, it is an album that you kind of have to go like, oh, fucking hell. I'm not going to be listening to this in the summer with my daughter in the car.
No, absolutely not.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Not until she's 6.
And she understands the words a bit more.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
But
Yeah.
look, Snoop came out the door and he's got fucking swagger for days. And on this record, far beyond anything else that he's done, his rhymes are just tight, man.
I see.
You
Right.
see him, he's coming out as a battler. His rhymes are just kind of so crisp. His wordcraft is so on point. And no one else sounded like him, you know.
But he's, if nothing else, even if you're not looking at the way he's writing and the words he's writing, just his voice is one of the most distinctive voices in hip hop.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of people. You know, there's probably 2 members of Onyx I couldn't pick out. But if you have Snoop on any track, I can hear Snoop.
Yeah,
Straight
of course
away.
you can. You know, I mean, Snoop's a cultural icon at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, this guy's a fucking player, man. He was up in, Murder Was the Case was about him being tried potentially for a murder.
Yeah.
You know, he still flies his Crip colours. This guy has been involved in some shit, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I love this record. I know you're not an enormous fan of this kind of era of death row.
No, not at all. My issue is with the lazy sound of G-Funk, and while I think there are good proponents of the style, and there's some songs that it really works on, I cannot do like a whole album of that. I don't even think The Chronic stands up as a full album for me because it's too laid back. I was still looking for punchy beats.
I see, but I think those records pop like fuck. I don't think they are too laid back. That's me. And well,
Sure.
I suspect we're going to disagree about some more stuff.
Oh, totally.
But that's the way that makes the world go round.
I mean, in '93 as well. Whenever you got this record, were any of your other friends listening to Snoop? No,
not really. I mean, I got a few people into Snoop. People kind of peripherally liked it from hearing it in my car and bits and pieces like that. But there was a contingent of people. This wasn't an underground record in the UK. You know, there was a contingent of people that knew who Snoop was, and it was kind of almost like the thing that kind of led towards like 50 Cent and all of that.
Definitely, that's the trajectory.
Trajectory started there. Really, you know, it's certainly for me. This is a lightning in a bottle record. I couldn't tell you another Snoop Dogg album that I'm interested in.
Sure, no, that's very true.
After this point, Snoop becomes a singles artist for me, a features artist.
Yeah, and I do remember, like the early 2000s, he was just putting out albums every other year, all of which were the full running time of a CD for no reason. But yeah, like 2 big singles and nothing else. Really never give a shit about.
Well, that happened with a lot. That kind of happened with a lot of rappers, you know.
It did. Yeah.
Again, that's kind of why I think this era is so special, because we've picked out 10 records across a year, you know, records where you can kind of dig into most parts of the album, whatever perspective you got, you know, and there's just a quality control that disappeared to a certain degree. What followed was people went, oh no, what people like about this is the guns and the bit, and you just got this entire wave of
Well, sure, and I suppose that also comes along with the fact that because it went so mainstream and took over the mainstream that record labels were going, all right, this is what the public wants, is it? Let's give them 20 albums.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean,
every week.
And that's the thing, you know, that's within 2 years of this record coming out, there were 50 terrible G-Funk records. So they're just like, right, okay, so it's just someone like with a substandard beat talking about bitches and guns, not got a particularly interesting flow,
a
not
Parliament sample.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, fucking, you know, what gangster rap turned into became very, very, very uninteresting very, very quickly.
Yeah, fair enough.
These early records where there was stuff in there, I just think, you know, they were so groundbreaking, they were so interesting. You know, something's got to be good to have that amount of fucking copyists after it. I mean, for every Nirvana, there's a Catherine Wheel.
Oh yeah, it has to be. That's the way that the music industry works.
Sure, or it did anyway.
Okay, so that's your number 3.
Yep.
My number 3 is one that I'm pretty sure you contemplated having in yours as well. It is A Tribe Called Quest with Midnight Marauders.
I certainly did contemplate this.
Yeah. No, I knew it would be, at least, you know, in your top 10.
I listened to this album 3 times last night.
Did you?
Yeah, going,
Shit.
is it this one? Is it after I sent the message and confirmed?
Yeah.
I listened to it 3 times in a row. Everyone went to bed a bit early last night, and I sat there between 11 and 1:30 and listened to it 3 times.
Oh, lovely. Wow. God damn. Well, this is it's the band's 3rd album, and I've said already that I dismissed the first one. I still don't think it's that great. The People's Instinctive Rhythms, etc. Yeah. I don't think it's brilliant. But then I went out to America in 1993. And I stayed with my dad, who lived out there, and his housemate was a music journalist and just had walls and walls of CDs. And this was, I'd never seen so much music. It was one of those ones that just blew my mind.
It's interesting you're saying that in this
room.
In
a room with 3,000 records, And one of the ones that he said, oh, check this out, was the previous Tribe Called Quest album. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not really a fan. And he went, nah, trust me on this. Or, the Low End Theory.
Yeah.
And I listened to that, and it was fucking wicked. Loved it. It was one of the ones. I just bought blank cassettes while I was out there and taped so much shit in front of back.
Sure.
And so that was the summer of '93. This came out in November, and I don't remember even reading about it really over here. It was there. It was in the shops, but it was one of the ones that I didn't have enough money just to take a punt.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I heard it until probably the following summer.
Okay.
But then when I did hear it, I was like, oh, this is lovely as well. And again, I think this is. I prefer Low End Theory, I reckon, but this has so many high points for me. It's got some brilliant standout bits. And Q-Tip, again, we're talking about distinctive voices in hip-hop. You can tell Q-Tip a mile away on anything, and he is so good on this record. Fife is as well, obviously. Fife is fucking brilliant. But it's just such a classic a piece of work from the both of them. I think it's
yeah. I mean, this could have easily been in my list, as I say. I mean, I love Tribe Called Quest. The reason this isn't in my list is because I didn't have this album at the time.
Right, sure.
It took me, again, one of those things, not enough money, not enough time, didn't know someone that had it, so I didn't have this record. And so I had Low End Theory, which I played to death.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But, I mean, there are tracks on this album that are, like, up there with my favourite Tribe songs.
Is that right? Yeah.
Award Tour, man. Fucking hell.
This is what playing underneath this is just hip hop perfection for me. It's just fucking wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great record, and it still stands out. But what I will say though, it's very, very jazzy, Krista.
It certainly is, and that's why it's not higher up in mine. Because when it's good, I think this is a great song. Electric Relaxation, are a really nice one. But at times it does go a bit too jazzy, and it doesn't have enough punch for me. I would prefer it if there were more songs that had more of a kind of a funk sample beat rather than the jazz side of things. But then it would be a very different record, and that's fine. The production on this is gorgeous, though. The beat making is really sublime. I would absolutely like it if it pumped it up a little bit more and gave me a bit more kind of heat, but that's not what it's about. And so for me, when it does hit well, it hits really well. But coming back to something that you said, and we've said, is the bits in between, the skits on this where it is the woman's robotic voice going, and a Tribe Called Quest. And
it's fucking annoying.
It's like, come on, man, there's 30 seconds to the end of this fucking thing.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. Get
really
on with the songs.
I'm kind of glad that skits have disappeared a little bit.
Same as.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember quite liking them at the time as well. That's the thing.
Oh, mate, that Goats album, where it's got the fairground skits in between, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was so well done, well funny. When that Fugees album came out, when the score came out, I thought those bits were funny as well.
Yeah, I mean,
no, they really aren't.
I mean, I run comedy nights, and people call their comedy night something that's like some kind of pun or something like that. And it's like, that's got to be funny for as long as this night lasts.
Right, yeah.
And it fucking won't be. Anyway, right.
Okay, so line number 3. Let's go on to my number 2 after that. Because it's just a complete flip side of what I was into. Because like I say, this one, to be honest, the Tribe album, like I say, I didn't get into it until after the fact, and I think it's a very good album, but I don't think it's like 100%.
Sure.
One that I was into, I got day one sort of thing, is Gunshots Patriot Games. And this was so up my street. This is the sort of thing that I really wanted to hear. At the time, but the thing is, Gunshot, their first single came out in 1990. I hadn't heard it at all. It wasn't until 1992 I was doing a small radio show back in Belfast with a couple of school friends, one of whom is now a senior music journalist for the BBC.
Nice.
And I would just be going around my local record shop, Heroes and Villains in Belfast, looking for new stuff that we could play on the radio show. And I took a punt on this one, Gunshot. Maybe a guy in this record shop recommended it to me, or maybe I'd read something about them. And I went, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to try this. And so this is 92, and I got their Interception Squad 12. Straight away, I was like, this is incredible. This is absolutely brilliant. And then Killing Season came out, bought that. And then, so those two big singles I was really, really into. And the album then was announced. And I bought it week of release because I was like, this is going to be stunning. And I'll be honest, at the beginning I was a little disappointed because neither of those singles were on it.
Right.
I was like, shit, but what? This is all stuff I haven't heard. It wasn't the familiarity that was comfortable. But after a few listens, some of the tracks just absolutely bang out. And, having known some things like, some Blade stuff from about 1990, some... a little bit like that one Hijack track that was going around, the Silver Bullets, 20 Seconds to Comply. I was like, I knew some UK hip hop, but this was the first album I'd ever heard.
Sure.
And it worked so well as a whole thing. It's like just these two kids fucking running the whole way through, and the production behind it was killer. It was like the Bomb Squad thing that I really wanted to hear once the Bomb Squad stopped doing it.
And this is the thing, is like, I was completely unaware of Gunshot in 1993. It would probably be 94 I heard Mind of a Razor.
Absolutely, yeah, which is a single on this album, but then it was the remix came out with Barney from Napalm Death all over it. Fucking brilliant,
mate. It's
fucking brilliant.
When I heard Mind of a Razor, it blew my fucking mind, man.
So good.
Because the interesting thing is, UK hip hop took a long time to find its feet. And it was like a poor relation for a long time, and there were various eras.
Check out this bit where it comes into here. Little bit of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Nice.
Yeah, so nice. Sorry, I interrupted. Go,
no. Sorry,
UK
hip hop. There were various eras of UK hip hop. You had the kind of first initial thing where everyone was doing American accents.
Money Love.
Yeah, Derek B.
Come on.
Yeah,
brilliant.
There was all of that kind of stuff coming through. But then you started to kind of get Gunshot, Hard Noise.
Absolutely, Hard Noise. Yes.
All of those kind of. There was a more authentic sound, but it never quite found an audience because hip hop wasn't big enough in the UK yet. I don't think.
No, this was very underground. This was niche as shit.
And and then when you got into the late 90s, 2000s, you had that whole kind of
Mark being Blade and stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely. And all the
Skinny Man,
Skinny
Geist,
Man, Rodney P,
all of those. And I always thought there was some really, really great artists and great tracks in there. Sometimes the production was a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
But I felt that those guys didn't really get their due necessarily. But and then kind of grime has wiped out the memory of them a little bit. I
suppose. Yeah. No. That went so stratospheric so quickly. Yeah. Yeah. That's very true.
But so I've got very little to say about this Gunshot album. I think I've heard it, but I kind of missed the window with it a little bit. But I very much like that sound. Hard as fuck.
That's the thing. It's hard as fuck. And the stuff you talked about, like Hard Noise and Hijack, it's all that sort of thing. This is a real Britcore hip hop. It's a bit one note if you want to think of it that way. But I fucking love that note. That hits every little branch on the tree for me.
I'm glad that we've got something British in here.
Yeah, indeed. It's a shame. This is the one that for me isn't on Spotify.
That is a real
had so many weird label shenanigans going on. It seems that back in this point they were on Vinyl Solution, and then they left Vinyl Solution after this album.
Vinyl Solution. That's a fucking problematic title.
No, quite.
Jesus Christ.
They went on to Words of Warning later in the 90s, and they put out a couple of pretty lackluster albums at that point.
Well, it comes to us all.
Indeed.
But, out of interest as well, we didn't mention it at the time, but Snoop Doggy Style's not on Spotify either.
Yeah, weird.
But that's a choice.
Is it?
Yeah, Chronic's not in there either.
Chronic, I saw that.
I think he wants it to be an NFT. He gives a fuck, man. He smokes a lot of weed.
That's true enough.
Right.
Okay, so basically I can't put a song onto the playlist, but if I could, it would be that song that I just played, which is the title track, Patriot Games.
Yeah.
And so
I'm gonna try and find it and listen to it, I think.
Oh, YouTube's got like the whole album on one video. It's fantastic.
Okay, so your number 4 album that we missed earlier is my number 2. Some of you may be surprised that this isn't the number 1 album. I guess if you had taken bets ahead of time, you'd guess at least one of us would have it. But no, number 2 is Enter the Wu-Tang.
Right.
Yeah, now look, right. I am well aware that if we're talking about important albums in hip hop, this one wins the argument. I don't think there's a lot of argument that says there's a more important album that comes out in hip hop in 1992.
Oh no,
right?
that's absolutely fair.
And this could have been my number one. It should, in many ways, it should have been. I've gone back and forth. I kind of thought about doing a joint number one thing, but I went, no, fuck it. I've done that before, and it just feels lame.
Yeah, you got to commit one way or the other.
Fucking pick a lane, right?
Right.
Look. This whole package is fucking insane. As soon as I saw this record, man, looking at it now, just the face masks in the hoodies. As soon as I saw this in a record shop, I was like, I don't know what this is because I hadn't heard it.
Yeah,
I have to fucking have this.
Oh, really? So you went blind into this?
I had to fucking have it. I was like, what's this? It looks fucking great.
Oh, right, okay.
And I got it, and then I started to read a few bits and pieces as well. And look, man, this record to me. To bring this many insane MCs that are so good with such different styles together in one place, right?
Yeah.
With and their beats didn't sound like anyone else. You got all these kind of clicks. You got all these old records. You got these sword swipes. It feels like it's world building.
It's so different to everything else that was happening at the time.
Like I say, so you got your MC. You choose your MC. Like the Spice Girls, but for hip hop.
Lovely. Yep.
And I was looking at this going through, man, and it's like when you go to the first track of this album, Bring the Ruckus.
Yeah.
So many classic lines, literally classic verses. It's just the way it starts off. The first line of that thing, that Ghostface catch a blast at a hype verse. My Glock burst, leaving a hearse. I did worse, but it's fucking fantastic, right? And you go right, any hip hop song that has one verse like that or one set of lines like that, and you go through it, and it's like. Every one of these verses is killer. Every one of them is fucking iconic. Like the wordplay and the imagery that these guys all bought, and then all trying to outdo each other. And you hear that first track, and you go, "That's amazing." Then you look at it again, you go, "Hang on a minute, ODB and Method Man weren't even fucking on that track."
Yeah. Oh,
so
sure.
you haven't heard all of them at that point, right? And then you go into, do you know what I mean? I could do a whole podcast about the lyrics of Bring the Ruckus.
Oh, okay.
Right? I genuinely could. I think Bring the Ruckus, the lyrics in Bring the Ruckus are fucking amazing. Like that. Did you watch that? Not very good, but it was a Luke Cage Marvel Netflix show.
Yes.
And there was just one where it was soundtrack to Bring the Ruckus, and he just was going through beating the shit out of people in a warehouse.
I mean, I have seen that. I can't remember that scene
specifically,
or that tune specifically.
Anyway, and then you get into Shame, and you hear Old Dirty Bastard for the first time.
Yeah.
You hear that Method Man flow, which because Method Man hasn't really varied it up over the years, you're kind of so used to it. But the first time I heard Method Man, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy, man?
Yeah.
That's a fucking unstoppable flow."
Right.
Then they switch up the beat, and fucking Raekwon comes back in. Man, look, I don't know. This whole record is full of banger after banger after banger, just hip hop classics, left, right, and centre. Classic wordplay, classic production. Everything about this record is pretty much unassailable. It would go on to just inspire so many good things. Like those first 4 or 5 Wu-Tang solo albums were all fantastic. It was just like franchise building and network building. And inevitably, you kind of got a massive law of diminishing returns on it, and eventually stuff started to kind of wake up. But this is it just
you
distilled.
Get to You God.
Yeah. I mean, You God's got some fucking good bits as well in places, but this verse where the quality is so high, and they're obviously just all so busy battling each other and trying to outdo each other before they got kind of more interested in, I guess, the other things that surrounded it, and it was just about the fucking verses, man.
Well, obviously, because this is the first one. It's the first time we ever heard them. At this point, they were still kids again. They were still just young guys jumping around up on the scene. But
apart from the Genius, who's a bit older.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he'd already had a one go around.
Oh,
he'd been out on Tommy
Genius
Boy.
True.
He's Riz's cousin.
Right, but Riz is the one really, I think, that is the focal point on this, obviously, because he's producing. There's a couple other production credits, but realistically, he's just written a production credit to be nice to someone else.
Sure,
it's all his stuff, and it was a complete. It's sort of a different sound to anything else that I was listening to at the time, and anything else I really heard at the time. I have said before, I think this is a very good album. I don't think it's brilliant because sometimes for me the beats are a little bit kind of tinny. There's not enough bass going on. There's not enough just a boom bap thing, which I was really into. And that's what I was after. but when it's good, Bring the Rockets is great. I love Method Man. The song Method Man is fantastic. Sometimes, because there's again more when there's more of like the soul samples, which are softer, they're crisped up a bit, but they're not as just I like the swagger of this funk. And that's what I would have preferred. And also because I've said many times that the MC thing, I don't listen to lyrics first, I listen to beats first. And you are very often the other way around.
Oh, very much.
And so the clever lyricism and the going in and out of each other's flows is something you would pick up on more. For me, I was like, this is really good. I went into it having read loads of hype about it and then going, oh, this is okay. It came down for me. I didn't go into it blind. I went into it with high hopes.
See, I found this on my own.
Right. Yeah, I was reading whatever Melody Maker said about it. I was like, fucking hell, this must be stunning.
And so you talk about the lyrics, and this is the thing. These are records I would rewind back just to be like, what the fuck did he say? Because there's no internet. I couldn't fucking dig up the lyrics. So it wasn't written down anywhere. I was like, okay, what's it? Then I'm having to find out what the whole Shaolin, all of the
that kung fu film.
All of the kind of the references. You have to I had to do a bit of research. I had to kind of learn a little bit about what it was all about. And it feels you say it feels all turd, this record, doesn't it?
Very much.
You can definitely feel like RZA all over it. That he's gone like, this is what I want this shit to sound like. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant, man. A brilliant record. And as I'm talking about it, I can't believe it's not my number one, but it isn't.
But okay. And a song that you wanted to put in was the one we just played, which is Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With.
Yeah.
That is a classic Wu-Tang. That is, peak Wu-Tang. I'll go with Method Man. I'll put that one in for me as well. A couple of those in there. I'm putting that in probably mainly because I really enjoy the Prodigy remix that came out the following year, I think it was. Liam Howlett remixed that, and I think it's fucking blinding.
Okay, so that was my number 2. Yep. What's your number 1?
Right, my number 1, and this is, and I will admit, pure white boy hip-hop coming through here, but
I don't think that's fair.
I tell you what, man, my most listened to hip-hop album from 93, it was Black Sunday by Cypress Hill.
Oh, I listened to this album a lot.
Couldn't stop. I fucking loved it.
Oh, I love this record as well, man. It's and I'm kind of feel like I'm damning it with fake praise by it not being in my top 5. I kind of knew it'd be in yours.
Right.
And as I've said before, the album, this album is it's faded in my memory only because I like the first album so much. And they are a little bit interchangeable.
Oh, very much so. They're very much so. But I'm pretty sure that, I'm absolutely sure that this was the first one I heard. Because
me too.
So it was Black Sunday, and I played it. Then found a copy of Cypress Hill, and was like, "Oh, this is also fucking amazing." Yeah. But this was the doorway for me. Yeah. To be honest, the doorway was Insane in the Brain. That was the first one I heard.
Same as that, man.
Jesus Christ, what is this? Loved it. So straight away got that. Got the next. Whatever. I think the next single was When the Shit Goes Down. Whatever. And then Black Sunday comes out. I'm all over that motherfucker. And honestly, it didn't leave my record player for a long time.
I did, man. I was such a big Cypress Hill fan.
Yeah.
Like 1 through 4, I loved dearly.
Right. Yep.
Even like when they started doing the Rock Superstar stuff, I was kind of semi there for
that's
it.
All right.
I mean, this record's brilliant. It's
got everything on it for me.
Yeah.
Production wise, just listen to this. The beats under this. That really low slung boom 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 boom, that's gorgeous. The weird kind of screechy samples, and the two MCs, the interplay between them, the vocals brilliant. I mean, they're not saying anything particularly brilliant, it's not, they're not overly clever, and they're not telling stories like the Wu do, but they are.
I mean, they are telling stories. Again, they're street fables. They're songs about kind of getting about street life told them from a certain perspective.
Yeah.
They were the first people that that were really. I mean, obviously the Chronic and stuff as well, but they were really leaning into the weed culture stuff.
Hits from the bong.
Yeah, and they kind of had that LA kind of cholo fucking street culture thing. All of the imagery, the Mr. Cartoon stuff. I loved all of that stuff. I was like, this this is again, this is one of those things like gateway into a world. Like when I saw, Dre's video and he had like the lowriders in it, and then you're like, okay, right, so there's this whole other thing, and you just become immersed in it and interested in it. And yeah, man, I really, really, really love this record. This was a real eye opener of a record, but it's one of those things that it was such a gateway record to a lot of other things. I've kind of almost, I don't really go back to it anymore.
I get that. I mean, there's so many records that I just completely overplayed and killed at the time that I find it hard to go back to. This isn't one of them. Although, even though I don't go back to it that much, I'm listening to this now and I'm so in love with it still. And whenever I was listening through to like what my choices are going to be, trying to pick it out, I was like, yeah, still love this.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely. I mean, I mentioned it was definitely in the play for my list. But I can't, to be honest with you, because I knew it would be in yours, and I knew we'd talk about it.
Sure,
it took a little bit of a backseat on it. Yeah.
I also, the one other thing I do love about this is, even though it's, again, Cypress Hill have a trick and they do it well, but there is enough variation on this album that I think it's a really interesting album sonically, because you got stuff like Liquor Shot, which is kind of that dark. You got hits from the bong with the Dusty Springfield sample. It's just this chilled out, laid back smokers vibe. You got When the Shit Goes Down, Inside of the Brain, these big party anthems.
Yeah.
It goes up and down enough for me. A Hand on the Glock with a la 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 la, which is a bit kind of just weird.
Hand on the Glock sounds like it should be on the first record.
It does, yeah, absolutely. They are interchangeable. But if there's a lot of the songs for Cypress Hill, if you played me an album track and went one or two, I would struggle on some of them. Be like,
you're 100% right.
Yeah, but
this one sounds a little bit cleaner, I'd say.
Oh, they definitely, they've got more money for the production. Yeah, that's what. But Muggs on this is so good on the production, and he is another person who inspired a lot of people from then on.
I love Muggs, man. That Muggs doing Muggs thing is wonderful. Like those Soul Assassins compilations that they put out.
Oh yeah,
there was some fucking great shit on those, man. I don't know if you guys still find those. There was a track it had with Exhibit on it. Oh my god, on the second one,
right?
So good. Anyway,
all right. So that's my number one. That is my either favourite or most played album from 1993. That's where I've put that. It's a mixture of the two.
Okay.
Like we've said, it's not the best or most important album of that year, but for me it was.
Fair enough, man. It's a very, very good album. I've got nothing bad to say about that record. I love it dearly. Right, so now my number one album.
Yes.
I'm gonna caveat it before I say what it is. I'm gonna say, right, we've gone through some of the things that I like about hip hop so far. Take my number 5 album, Jazzmatazz. Yeah. I kind of like the jazzy beats. I like that kind of that kind of smoothed out sound. We go Onyx. I like that kind of MCs kind of going into each other, interplay with MCs. That kind of tightly crafted wordplay. We're going to Snoop Dogg, that West Coast laconic kind of sound with the kind of the heavy bass.
Right. Yep.
And we talk about Wu-Tang, which is again about like just interplay between distinct voices and just kind of coming together with fantastic lyricism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, this record combines all of those things.
Akinyele Vagina Dino.
Absolutely. Yeah. Akinyele Vagina Dino. This is MC Hammer. Please Hammer. Please Hammer. I can't pay my mortgage. Please come back, everyone. Please, I'm sorry. Now this is Souls of Mischief, 93 Till Infinity.
So instantly we do have a kind of a laid back beat going on.
And this is the thing, man. Like everyone knows 93 to Infinity, the single.
Yes, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of gone into the
That's a classic.
But I feel like the rest of this has been forgotten, and this whole album is pretty much as strong as that. It falls into the absolute sweet spot of what I love in hip-hop lyricism. It's not that conscious rap which is just pious and preachy.
Yeah, sure.
But it's those kind of tales of everyday life told from a perspective of being around the kind of the danger and being around the kind of the gang shit, but not being a part of it and not really wanting to be a part of that.
Okay, yeah.
But more than anything, we are in an era of lyricists,
and people that take the craft incredibly seriously, right? And again, Souls of Mischief were name checked in by Eminem when he did his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acceptance
Oh,
speech.
right.
I don't know if
Okay.
you saw that. He did it. He literally went A to Z. It was a great thing that he did. He went through everyone that influenced him from this kind of golden era, like
Lovely.
the late 80s, early 90s. But these are all MCs that are not prepared to be outdone by anyone. There's so many clever little bits of lyrics here and there, and I was trying to pick them out, and I got to like the second song, and I was just like, there's just too much stuff
see.
here
It's all
to write down,
right.
And I feel like the far side are fairly beloved by the kind of the indie alternative crowd a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's because they were kind of playful. But as much as I love the far side, Souls of Mischief comparable and always superior
Right.
in terms of what they could bring. They had always had great beats. But it was always the lyrical interplay they had. They'd have obviously Del the Funky Homo Sapien as part of their bigger clique,
the extended
the
crew.
hieroglyphics.
Yeah, sure.
So you saw him on a couple of these things. But I could have picked so many different tracks on here. I've just written down this lyric here from Live and Let Live.
Yes.
Right? The lyric starts off and it goes, "Now playful pulpit pussies junking with the pistol, seated because I'm dreaded. Let's get ready to pull a fistful."
Yeah.
It's just like it's so fucking clever, and it's just the word in it is just so fun.
Right.
And it's just. We've cut out edits of this because I was trying to say it for like fucking 3 or 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to just say.
Right.
And he's just kind of got it in the cadence and got it. And this lyric, it's a throwaway line that fucking hardly anyone remembers. But this album is just absolutely dense with them.
Whenever this came out, so this, I'm just trying to remember when it was. Let's say summer '93, probably. Were you on it straight away?
No, 1994 I got... Basically, funnily enough, what it was, 1994, our friend Robin Bashuri gave me a mixtape that someone had made for him, and it just ended up in my car. And it had loads of stuff on it that I fucking loved. It had this track on it. It had, funnily enough, it had that Mind of a Razor track on it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some Jane's Addiction, which I already well and truly knew. Some
Yeah.
Operation Ivy, which
Oh,
I
blimey.
just some loads and loads of fucking great
I mean,
stuff.
that sounds like a skate video soundtrack straight
100%.
away. Yeah.
It was a fucking skaters thing.
Right.
But again, that was the thing. Souls of Mischief were, again, I heard Souls of Mischief on skate videos as well. They were very much embraced by that kind of part of that community. But yeah, for me, this album is. I'm never far away from this album.
Is that right? I was going to
this-
say, did you listen to it again in full to make your choice on this list?
I mean,
or were you like, nah, I know this?
I mean, I didn't need
Didn't
to.
need
but,
to, yeah.
I mean, I did listen to it. I mean, mate, this thing, I've listened to all of these albums and all of the ones that were going to be on the album far more than. They've just been on.
Right, yeah, okay.
I've been killing these records, and I've been genuinely agonising over this.
Brilliant.
This record for me, it's just got everything. It's
it makes sense from what you said. It does have all the stuff that you love most about a lot of hip hop, and it's all in one place.
And I recommend anyone that's got that's got an interest in kind of old school hip hop that maybe if you haven't kind of dug in and listened to this album in full, just go in and check it out, man. You'll find some really cool like album cuts in there. Like A Name I Call Myself is a fucking brilliant track. Limitations, which has got Del on it. MC Should Learn the Limitations. What a track that is!
Nice.
Just a track of Del just being like, yeah, you lot are all shit, man. I'm fucking great.
He did love to do that.
I love everything about Souls of Mischief. Their second record was pretty decent as well. I like everything they've done with Hyro. But again, this is a very lightning in a bottle record. It's
Right.
just fucking brilliant, and it's a classic, and it's underrated, and I want everyone to listen to it.
Very cool. All right, so that's your number one. That is it's turned out to be like a top 8 with a couple of crossover bits. But that is, what we were listening to and what we love from 1993.
And we will be back. We're going to talk about. So I appreciate that it might not be that interesting if you're not a fan of hip hop.
Yeah.
But we're going to be back with our top 10s of everything else non hip hop related. We're going to have to take these tracks out, and then I guess what we'll do at the end is after we've done our top 10, we'll maybe go, where would these tracks have been in
indeed,
there?
maybe so.
Mate,
maybe
we'll
so.
try and do that.
Yep.
Just for an added level of fucking nerddom.
Oh, yeah, well, that is exactly what this is all about. What we should say then is if you have listened to this and you're looking forward to our kind of roundup of the other stuff, do send us or put on Twitter or whatever, send us your top 5s or top 10s from 1993.
Please do,
because
guys.
we're very interested to see what everyone else was into and how it compares to what we're going to end up with. So we'd love to hear from everyone. Either send it to our PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com email address, or just stick it on our Twitter or on our Facebook, or just tag us, whatever, and let us know.
Lovely. And also, let us know if it's that time of the year when the Spotify end of year wrap ups are coming up. If we end up on yours, let us know, man. A couple of people have already, man, and it gives us massive erections. So
okay, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time, motherfuckers. Bye.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We're on Twitter @PCL Podcast, on Instagram also @PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.